Welcome, everybody, to the Onward VR Master League. My name's NightFiree with 2 E's. I'm joined by my co-caster, Etch, and we have Ramen on the sidelines for analysis. But, Etch, I want to get your thoughts. How are you feeling today? A pretty hype matchup that we're going to be delivering here.
Yeah, excited to be here, NightFiree. This is going to be one heck of a matchup between 2 top-level teams, 2 of the teams that have been at the top of Season 10.
Yep.
Peacekeepers, who obviously went to the finals, and Mayhem, who finished off #1 in NA. So I'm excited to see the action.
Yeah, Peacekeepers have been looking good this season as well. They came out the gate in Week 1 with a very strong performance. I think it was against Animal House, if I'm remembering correctly. But they looked great, and obviously Mayhem, like you said, a seasoned team, a team that has been around for a bit of time. So curious to see what this matchup's going to deliver. And I mean, when you talk about high tier Onward, this is about as high tier as you can get. This is a sort of a little of an early look at some potential season finale matchups. This is maybe what we'll see Absolutely. At the end of this season. And I mean, when you think about teams like this, Ramen, I want to get your thoughts. What do you think when you see Peacekeepers and Mayhem?
Well, honestly, I honestly think it's going to be a great matchup. These two are very good teams. Peacekeepers winning round robins last time and getting into the finals, and ended up in 3rd place, beating Mayhem. So I'm very interested to see what happens here. Both really good teams, both aggressive teams, so we might see some very coordinated aggression. They're very good at that.
Yeah, absolutely, and it does give us, I guess, a good transition to take a look at our pick bans of the day. Coming in from the home team, we have a sand ban, Mayhem getting rid of that, a common ban that we've seen. We'll get into that in just a moment. And then from Peacekeepers, we have quarantine. And that sand ban, Etch, I'm curious on your thoughts there. We've seen a lot of teams banning sand.
Yeah, I think that Season 11 is bringing custom maps to the table with 2 in this first 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we obviously had the tournaments in preseason to prepare for it, but there is a massive preparation advantage to a team who comes in ready to play on a map like sand, and especially on a close quarters map where timing is so crucial. I think that a team that doesn't feel so prepared, maybe yet, it's a wise choice to ban it. And for Mayhem, their default ban is usually Suburbia, so it's interesting to see them go with Sand. So maybe we'll see Suburbia in play today.
Yeah, it very well could be on the table. That's what I love about the Season 11 map pool, is that it's shaking up what teams would historically ban against each other. Normally you ban, you counter ban against each other, stuff like that. But in cases like that, you ban against your weakness, and that very well could be the case. Obviously, Peacekeepers a powerful team, so maybe Mayhem's aware that Peacekeepers are strong on sand, and that's the reason that they take that off of the playing field. But quarantine also off there. It leaves us with some long range available, like Snow Peak and Downfall, but obviously still USS Quest on the table. Map 1 of the day going to be Subway, so keeping it close quarters, at least in the start of things here on Subway. And the shield, I think, off the plate here for both of these squads, an element that we'd always see on the Subway map. But it was C4 back in play, Smokes back in play. I mean, I feel like some teams haven't really started to utilize that utility that's been reintroduced quite yet. I expect to see it used here, don't you, Etch?
I agree. I think that both of these teams are going to use it to coordinate their pushes, and Subway is Mayhem's strongest map, but it's also Peacekeepers' strongest map statistically. So this is going to be a real good start to the match. And some of these OBJs, the new one, for example, in the south, really depends, I think, on utility usage to be able to clear those alleyways and get into a position to attack the OBJ. So I agree. I think that we'll definitely see C4s and smokes in play, and some really good grenades and flashes as well, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. A quick look at the rosters before we get in, as both teams are loaded in lobby and ready to go. Def on Mayhem's side, we have Defilade, Wookie, Monarchid, Theta, and James Boak, the original 5 there you'd expect. And on Peacekeepers, we have Rushers, Seaquick, Virus, Nardu, and Fume. And with that, we are hopping in to round number 1 of map 1. Mayhem versus Peacekeepers. I mean, this is going to be an interesting one. We're starting off with an upstairs objective in Chinatown. Curious to see how Mayhem attack this, and it looks like it's going to be potentially a 2-2-1 split.
Yeah, the Peacekeepers defense is set up. We've got Seaquick in the catwalk, and we've got coverage of the south. We've got coverage of really all the entry points. Pretty standard defense. And we're going to kind of go into a stalemate at the moment as the Mayhem offense tries to see if there's any early aggression or any pushes from Peacekeepers.
Yeah, and I mean, Virus has pushed up pretty far forward into this little ravine here, and I think as he ducks back, Defilade seems to spot that movement. Virus is going to try and chuck some utility around the corner. The flash detonates, doesn't catch Defilade. And Defilade repeats the angle. Another nade comes in, that one a frag. Defilade drops back. It doesn't kill him there either, but now control of the stairwell into the hands of Virus, and Defilade has to be wondering if he wants to make this entry now.
Yeah, I wonder if Peacekeepers identified the north spawn and tried to gain more map control to shut down Mayhem from being able to exit from downstairs.
A great nade from James Boak. Throws it over the wall. Catches out Nardu, who was tucked in. Another nade comes in from Fume. The double frag. Netting them control of objective. This north entry point could be, I mean, it's completely unguarded. Wow. Rushers has to get back here. They need to get the reses here. An opportunity for Mayhem to push up, but I mean, we see the downs. Does the Mayhem team even know? I don't think they do.
Yeah, Nardu is going to be a very tough res. Probably not possible unless James or Mono throw a smoke for some coverage. But Nardu, I mean, he's in a good position for calling out some things, but yeah, this is going to be a tough res.
In the meanwhile, Defilade does kill his opponent in that middle alleyway. So the 2-2-1 split coming into fruition here. Seaquick going to be challenged on a couple of different angles soon enough. And yeah, that Nardu res just not going to be happening. He is still a good beacon of comms for that north lane. And so now Rushers, you know, in theory, isn't, well, not in theory, but he doesn't have to peek out here because Nardu can call out any sort of push that comes down this lane. And so it's not all a loss, but there is I mean, he could be getting rezzed right now. You know, they could have an extra gun in the fight.
Yeah, but that's definitely a risk in that north alleyway, and you know, nobody's really watching it. But if they were, it could be two easy kills. So, interesting bit of you know, decision making by both teams to peek or not to peek here.
Yeah.
And how safe they can play it.
Fume holding the west entry point, and gonna have to go on board Defilade as he does begin to make his entry up into that danger zone, if you will. Seaquick does have a line of sight here. He is watching for exits out of this stairwell, but Seaquick's position is incredibly common. I think Defilade, I don't know if he used any utility to get the kill as he pushed up, but be interesting to see if he challenges this or when, because I'm sure Mayhem are going to be timing things up here, and there is some utility. Smoke coming in. And there it is, the smoke. We finally see a smoke getting used. We saw some frags and flashes, but Defilade's tossed one out.
And I think the northern push is getting ready to toss a smoke as well to make a pinch, and there it is. They're about to start their pinch, I imagine, as Nardu bleeds out.
Wookie and Theta as well, and yeah, the timing nicely lined up. The question is can the Peacekeepers get the kills they need? Because if Seaquick finds Defilade, it's going to be a great kickoff to their defense. And it seems like Defilade's managed to cross this street without Seaquick spotting him. The smoke doing its job. Wookie going to be starting to push up here. Seaquick finds Defilade. That's a huge pickup, a huge denial of the 2-2-1 from really coming to fruition. Now it's really just a 2-2, and they're pushing down these split lanes that are covered nicely right now by Rushers and Mono. Rushers is going to take a little gander down here, but doesn't spot anyone just yet. Wookie potentially has an angle, a line of sight as he swings wide. Fume trades. Rushers finds one in the alleyway. He himself, no, two. James is down, and so it's all up to Theta now in a 1v1. And a quick burst of fire, and Theta finds the kill. Peacekeepers can't hold on, and I hear Theta say, good call out, James. Downed in the far north lane, gets comms onto his exact location, and Theta acts. That's teamwork. That's Onward for you.
Wow, that was a tight round. That game came down to it. I mean, that early pick, those grenade utility picks, I think helped out Mayhem a lot. If they had that extra body, that would not have been a 1v1 there at the end.
Whew. Quite the kickoff here, and I mean, we have for these brief moments in time, we can dip over to Ramen, and I mean, geez, what a start to this series, Ramen. Your thoughts on that 2-2-1 entry?
So honestly, I think that's what we basically expected from both of these teams.
Right.
It came down to the last two. Virus really pushed up. We kind of saw that aggression on their side. James with those really nice nades.
Oh.
Very nice. I mean, these guys are playing at their peak performance right now. The smokes on Mayhem, by the way, very timed, very coordinated. All the smokes went onto the objective at the same time. You could tell these guys are communicating.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an interesting night tonight.
Oh yeah, it's going to be certainly an interesting night. Off to a great start, to say the least. A exciting round one. Mayhem delivering there with a W on offense, and now it's up to Peacekeepers. They have this quick spawn, and if you are unfamiliar with the sort of the core concept of Onward, you rotate spawn, you defend the objective once, and then you attack that same objective, and then the objective changes location. And so now Peacekeepers are attacking, Mayhem are defending, and Peacekeepers have gotten one of several spawns that you get per objective. And so a quick spawn, as it's historically known, because Fume and Virus here taking control early of this initial lane. You also have Nardu, who's nearly already pushed all the way up here through this middle catwalk, and, you know, really early control from Peacekeepers. In comparison, the Mayhem defense not necessarily pushed out as far. Really, they're pretty tucked in onto their corners, waiting for entries into the main 3 lanes that you have to come into to get to this objective.
Yeah, like you said, early map control from the Peacekeepers, and that spawn, I mean, that's the difference between, 30, 40 feet, being able to time that and get into the south and have access to all those alleyways now. And I imagine they'll probably try to clear this east alley to allow Nardu to push out. They'll probably have to take care of Deflate first to get control and allow Nardu to sync up with them, and then have a 4-man push from the south. And then the lone attacker in the north, Seaquick, will probably be a delayed push, I imagine.
Oh, C4 in use. You know, you got to be ready for it. Finds Fume. Doesn't get the full kill, but he is downed, and so now it's a little bit dangerous for him. That's a good nade toss into the corner. Defilade, lucky it's just a smoke in that it is tucked into the back corner. And what I like about this defensive setup is that Defilade's here, put Mono's on the other corner to re-peek and catch a quick refrag. Most players really just expect Defilade to be in that back right corner. They don't necessarily expect there to be 2 covering this lane. But we'll see. They are certainly covering both angles now as Nardu's trying to look through that smoke. Mono does find Seaquick pushing in from the north, and it turns it down into this 3-1 push. As Nardu does get into that first lane, Defilade spots him. A chaotic gunfight there. Yeah, breaking out Nardu. Resable, James swings wide, finds the kill. Rusher is going to be pushing in now as the lone attacker. Wookie hears him there, and as he peeks, detonates the C4 because he spots the toes, drops back and pushes the clicker. Great C4 use from Mayhem here to snag them this round W. And I mean, geez, what a really nice defensive setup. Ramen, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that defense was perfect. We had James being able to watch the north without having to worry about his back because Wookie was on that side, watching the alley. We had Defilade and Mono in perfect positions, able to get any refrag possible onto each other. Yeah, it was a very nice defense coming out from MAYHEM there. 2 great C4s. It's what you expect from these great teams.
Yeah,
very fast offense too, coming out from Peacekeepers. You saw one of them pushing onto OBJ with 4 minutes into the round.
Yeah, you love to see it, and you know this quick offense worked well for Peacekeepers in week 1 against Animal House, and it seems to maybe not be backfiring because heck, they brought it to a 1 to they got it to 1v1, they got to a 1v3 there in round 2. They're keeping things close, but it's the strategy they deployed in week 1 for sure, and we'll see if it's something they keep kind of sending, if you will, to see if it works up against the likes of MAYHEM, but. We'll see as we go to this new objective. I'm curious. I mean, this is what I love about this season 11 as well, is that even on the old maps, Etch, we still have some fresh sort of objectives like this one. I mean, what are your thoughts on this OBJ?
This one is a tough challenge to defend, but it really depends on where Marsoc spawn as we see him jump in. And yep, MAYHEM is going to get the further away spawn downstairs. So that really changes things up. This allows Peacekeepers to get into a lot of spots, really take control of most of the top level of the map, really.
Yeah, they can get nice and comfortable in their defensive positions, and it's going to come down to really, I guess, maybe what happens with Sequick, as he is going to be pushing down the stairs and potentially challenging an early entry spawn here. Yeah, he's going to be looking for this spawn. Defilade seems to be IDing him here, doesn't get the shots as Sequick ducks into the L here, just barely avoiding getting tagged, but his position known, and at the very least, it is going to put a pause in the MAYHEM's offense.
Definitely. Pushing those south stairs is extremely tough as Marsoc, so they probably weren't planning on doing it, but just Sequick's presence here makes them worried about a flank, which could happen, it might not happen, but just the fact that he's there alone will make them hesitant and just slow down a little bit. James is still scanning there just to see if Sequick's going to exit. So it's going to slow them down, maybe make one of their players have to hang back a little bit more. But Sequick doesn't have to do much. He can retreat when he wants to, but he just has to hang out here right now.
Yeah, buying time. I guess it is important to point out, though, that time, of all things, has changed with Season 11 as well. We go from a 5-minute timer to a 6-minute timer in rounds, so a lot more time to work with. And Defilade here looking for the angle inside onto Sequick. Sequick fortunate to be tucked in there behind the L, but Theta also on the hunt, and eventually they get their perfect 90-degree coverage and find the Sequick lying in that L defense. And while it was a nice defensive push-up and it could have had some results, it's now a 5v4 advantage for MAYHEM.
Yeah, and the remaining 4 of Peacekeepers are well tucked defending the 2 main corridors towards objective. And there is, I believe, at least 1 C4 in play. But Mono and Wookie have a ways to go. They're just coming out of the north alley towards Chinatown. They used the smoke to get out of there. They're really worried about all these corners because, like we said earlier, Peacekeepers could have gotten anywhere here.
Yep.
So they have to clear a lot of different angles, use some utility to do so. But really, they're not going to meet any Peacekeepers for at least a little bit. But Wookie might be the closest one.
Yeah, this is an interesting defensive setup. What I haven't really seen before is this tuck into the alley from Nardu and Virus. It's incredibly dangerous in that, a nade can certainly get thrown here. Granted, you have that awning to protect from a nade up top. It's an interesting position, and I'm curious to see if it's going to pay off. A C4 is planted, and you can see Nardu has that clacker in hand. So I'm wondering if Virus has a sort of eye on an angle there, and they're going to detonate it as soon as they enter. And as I check, I can't quite see if there's any C4. Oh, there it is, actually. Detonated a little bit early.
Yeah, I think Nardu's waiting on some audio cues. He's as close as possible to that alley, but James coming up the catwalk kind of gave him a false positive on where they actually are. But yeah, both of them in this alley, this could go very well or this could go very badly, depending on how things go. And, one smoke could blind both of them and force some exits. But yeah, I think, MAYHEM are a little surprised that they're probably getting all this real estate to get into this alley without being challenged. And James is about to toss a nade. Where's it going to go?
We'll see. Up and over. He's trying to hit that alley. It's exactly the threat I was talking about, but it doesn't go in. It's just
So close.
just barely held there. We're getting some shots coming in from the corner as Rushers and Wookiee challenge on the corner. Rushers actually finds one before Wookiee can get the refrag. In the meanwhile, the push comes in. The swing from Virus gets picked up by Mono. Nardu drops off the angle. He has to worry about Wookiee, who has pushed up. Fume finds one pushing out. A good defensive hold. Mono tries to swing and get the kill. 2 minutes left. In the meanwhile, a trade between Nardu and Wookiee through the smoke. Nardu finds the kill, and in a flash, we are into a 2v2.
Yeah, and Mono and Theta are trying to push this corner, but there's 2 guns pointed that way, and it's going to be tough without utility usage. And I don't know if they have any smokes left, because they did have to use a couple to get to this spot. But they do have the time. If Theta wants to, he could make a quick rotation to get towards the west, and they can do a west-east pinch.
It seems like they're committing here to this double push. Uh-oh, a botched smoke here. That's fortunate. I thought that was going to be a flash. I mean, it wouldn't have been, I suppose as bad, but that smoke is not what they were looking for, or maybe it was. Maybe that's all they were looking for, just a little distraction, as they do exactly what you were talking about, Etch. They're going to swing and rotate seemingly to this other entry point. Or are they going to split?
Yeah, I think splitting up here is a smart choice to put the pressure, because just the way the alleys are, they're kind of funnels. And if you funnel through both sides, it's much smarter.
You got to look at the time here, though. 54 seconds. Theta and Mono do have to push. And I mean, granted, Theta is technically right on top of objective here, but he's got to get through Fume and Nardu, and Fume's in a tucked-in corner angle here. It's going to take a good shot. There's a huge pickup. And now if Mono can push up here, Nardu's going to be challenged from both sides. This is going to be the pinch. Theta, though, swings just a little bit too early. Mono pushes out, takes shots at what he thinks is a target, and it isn't. Gives an opportunity, but finds the final kill. Literally the last bullet in his magazine, as you hear him clicking dry on his gun. Mayhem barely scrape away with that offensive round.
Man, the timing there was tight. It could have been Nardu's swing out, and I think there was 20 seconds left on the clock. Nardu could have bought a little bit more time, but just unfortunate timing of that 1v1, and really good on him to pull it back into a 1v1 after getting Theta.
Ramen, we've had 3 awesome rounds here. I mean, what this third offensive attack from Mayhem, what are your thoughts?
I mean, once again, these guys are top players.
Yeah.
We saw some really nice refrags come out from Mayhem there. We had Rushers who killed Defilade and Wookiee with the quick refrag right onto him. Very nice. Very nice rotation. I'm pretty sure, I think it was James looking for that pinch, or sorry, Mono looking for that pinch with Theta onto the objective. I'm pretty sure they probably had a really good kill count, so very nice on them. We saw C-Quick pushing down those stairs. Pretty aggressive spot, but Mayhem were able to counter that with a 3-man pinch. Everybody eyes on those doors, waiting for C-Quick to peek, and unfortunately he wasn't able to get any picks there.
Yeah, a decent attempt for sure on the defensive end, and an interesting setup that was read nicely by the Mayhem offense. I mean, geez, that nade had found success into that alleyway, it would have been bad news. And ultimately, you did see the Peacekeepers defense push out of that alleyway and swing and drop back off of it. So, you know, maybe the Peacekeepers a learning moment there, a learning opportunity. You always got to take a look at these. And geez, I mean, Peacekeepers are really, I guess it's a credit to Mayhem right now. They are doing really well to challenge this Peacekeepers team, and out the gate looking for some early action. Just sort of assessing the spawn is Theta, and he instantly IDs this. Defilade's also managed to get a really nice tuck into a defensive position. He's going to be patiently waiting to push out there.
Yeah, and this is going to be a fast push. They got the quick spawn, and they're already up here in the east side, taking out Defilade, and it's going to be an east-only push right now. Their west isn't really pushing much there.
Quick is making his way up through the south entry point, though. He's going to try and be a threat element to the likes of James, maybe distract Wookie. He may be able to find a couple of defenders fully committed on defending this entryway from Fume and Virus, because if he can, it's just a matter of timing. That's all it comes down to. He has to play it quick there and rotate in from the south. You look at the overhead, you can see him trying to work his way up there. James is covering it every once in a while, so an opportunity. Fume trying to peek out. Wookie has an angle, but he's not looking, can't quite spot Fume just yet.
Yeah, it seems like this east push is now slowing down a little bit. They've gained all this real estate. They've got their picks. They're slowing down. This is pivotal. This is a pivotal round after all. I mean, it's a 3-0 right now. They really need this point to stay alive on this map. And they're probably waiting on Seaquick to get into position and maybe surprise the defense.
Yeah, I think they got that pick on Deflate and felt good about their initial aggression, because that was what it was going for. James nearly goes down. Nardu almost finds the shots there. Has to take a bit of a healing moment to drop back, and Nade comes in. That's a good flash. Does catch Virus. Seaquick, though, the push is coming in. James goes down. The suppressive fire covers the shots. He has Wookie to his back. Wookie goes down. He's still coming in. More suppressive fire. Mono has to push up here and get this defense. He does. A huge pickup. Theta swings, and a huge kill. A huge double from the likes of Mayhem. What a round.
That was insane. That ending there was, I mean, despite what the scoreline says, every round was really close, and tiny little differences made those rounds make or break.
Yeah, it's wow, we are off to the races. Is Cargo in this map pool? I didn't think it was.
It is not.
It's not.
Okay, well, that is what's being presented here to us as the next potential map, but geez, we got to take a little bit of a pause on our end, honestly, to sort of assess what has happened here. And I wonder, I mean, what a fantastic hold, the coordination. I mean, the attack Seaquick, the push from the south, it almost pays off, and wow, what a great overall effort from that Peacekeepers team. And to your point, Etch, it's always been close. It's always been incredibly close. Map 2, we're not quite sure where it's going to take us just yet. I'm going to guess and say Bazaar for now, but we'll see, as we do have to do a reload. Where do you think we're headed for Map 2 with this team? Peacekeepers is picking. They just almost took Subway from Mayhem on Map 1. Where do we go from here?
I think we're going to go to USS Quest. I think that there's 2 custom maps, and I feel like Peacekeepers think they're more prepared for one of the customs than Mayhem is. So that's going to be my guess.
You know, that's certainly an interesting option. If they, you know, considering that maybe they had that cargo in mind, that's where we went. I wonder if I mean, really, if you think about, I kind of see USS Quest as the substitute for cargo, not because there's crates, but it really does have that very close quarters action, and then those also awkwardly long lanes that you can get some shots down on.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
But we're still on the wait, and I think you're right.
Looks like they're rehosting.
Yeah, I'm seeing a USS Quest lobby here. So it seems like that's where Peacekeepers are going to be taking us, and this is what Season 11 has me hyped about. And I mean, let's take a moment. Let's think about this, the rounds we just saw and where we're headed. I mean, what do you think this Bazaar series is going to look like, Ramen? Because even Subway, which can be a little bit longer round time, was pretty dang quick.
Yeah. Honestly, PK being the aggressive players that they are, I mean, even pushing onto objective on Subway with 4 minutes, I'm very much questioning whether this is going to be over in a minute because they're just going to get so aggressive with it. I mean, we've seen teams before play these maps, and it just takes it's over so quickly before you even are able to think straight. Yeah, so I think it's going to be pretty quick coming out from PK, definitely.
Yeah, they have been playing very fast on offense, and this is a map that, like you said, lends its hand to quick play. Flashes, certainly an element that can be utilized effectively here on this map for a lot of defensive positions. Smokes can deny all kinds of different angles that are important to have control of. I mean, there's all kinds of utility options on this map, and at the same time, it also heavily favors a good angle. You know, if you have a nice line of sight early and you're holding it, you can catch out some crosses. And so it's a map that I really do think is well designed. I really enjoy this map. And, you know, with the different lanes, there's all kinds of different approaches. Even coming up through the center is viable as an entry point to get to the objective. And so to see this map get played with two of the top teams right now in Onward, I mean, yeah, this is going to be incredibly exciting, I think. And Subway was incredibly exciting. I'm still getting over that near cap attempt from Peacekeepers. I mean, they're going for a cap against Mayhem.
Yeah, and they were, what, maybe 2 seconds away from getting it, and they had the drop. I mean, they took out James and Wookie, and Theta and Mono were a little slow in rotating. One more smoke. I think if they had one smoke, that might have happened. We'd be looking at a 3-2 going into another almost decider round.
Patiently waiting here. I'm taking a look at rosters. Mayhem waiting on a fifth to join. Maybe I got to update the map and then we can be in. And I don't think we're seeing any subs. No, actually we are. Sky Joker getting brought in here, fellow casting member. Who does he substitute for?
Question.
I know.
I think Mono. It looks like it's going to be for Mono.
Now, at NightFiree, if you don't mind me adding, Sky Joker is known for his caps. So, especially on smaller maps, I mean, if you ever seen him, he's a fast capper. So, taking out Mono, bringing in Sky Joker, we might see some cap attempts here.
And correct me if I'm wrong, there's a meme for how slow Mono caps, right?
Yeah.
He's the source of the meme. I mean, the Mono cap has been known to be a good 30-40 second cap attempt, and so it certainly makes sense that they've pushed him out for a faster capper. And so, hey, a good insight for sure, Ramen. Maybe we'll see some caps coming in from Mayhem as we do dive into round one on USS Quest. Peacekeepers going on the offense. This is their map pick, and Mayhem kicking it off on the defense. We are underway. I want to see if we're going to see any early picks. Already shots coming in from Theta. He spotted one. Rusher's able to find that kill, and now it's control of the midfield for Peacekeepers. They have Defilade, but he has to cover the middle and his side angle, and so there's opportunity for Peacekeepers to push up here. In the meanwhile, look at how quick on the other side of the map Nardu and Squirfy have pushed up. Nardu finds one. He goes down to a trade. James with a huge double saves the East attempt, and now it's up to the final three of Peacekeepers. Seaquick, who has been pushing up because Defilade's been distracted by the coverage in the center, may have an exposed Defilade as he pushes up to the side here. Doesn't see Defilade. The Hesco box is just denying him vision. There's the spot. Seaquick finds the kill. He's going to push up. Sky Joker is his next target, and Sky realizes that this is a threat. A huge pickup. James with another kill. There's a good pickup from Rushers, and in a crazy back and forth, we're into the first minute of this series. Sky Joker in a lone 1v2. A cap opportunity truly here. If Rushers and Fume can coordinate, they don't have to, though, as Fume finds the final pick. I get to take a breath. Etch, round one's done.
What a round. I mean, just constant action. Peacekeepers deployed some smokes in the midfield to deny that long angle, some of those long angles we talked about. James tried to thread a couple nades towards their direction, but they just weren't far enough. I mean, this is a map with minimal overhead cover, so nades are really powerful, but they just didn't go the way that he wanted. And then Seaquick through the right side. I mean, coming behind them, getting a pick, getting the crucial pick onto Deflate, opening up that side, just constant back and forth, very much like what a cargo would have been.
Wow. Yeah, very much what a cargo would have been. Ramen, is this what you expect? I mean, this is kind of what you predicted, right? The quick pace of Peacekeepers. I haven't seen a team push up on that back lane that fast before.
Yeah, like I predicted, they got really pushed up, stopping any defense from pushing forward, because that's what you want. You want to stop them from pushing past the objective. You want to get them behind it, and try and pick them off in what is a little bit more open in the back. You saw Seaquick on that rotate around the west side on that catwalk. That catwalk is very important, because if you don't spot somebody there, you instantly have an attacker on your backside, and that can be really deadly to the defense.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see Mayhem have to really sort of react to induced panic in a lot of senses there. James having to cover all kinds of different angles, getting the double, then swinging and getting another kill cross map. You know, it's a lot of effort going into that defensive hold there, and Peacekeepers really doing a good job to not let up on the pressure. Sometimes you see a team get an early advantage like that and then sort of take a pause. Peacekeepers just kept pushing.
That's part of the design of this map, I think, is that you have to keep moving on defense or on offense. You cannot be a stationary target. And let's see how Peacekeepers defend this one as they try to push. And we have Nardu and Seaquick both going towards that right side lane. A defensive smoke from Fume to the middle. I don't think they're going to get very aggressive. Doesn't look like it, at least. Maybe a little bit more than Mayhem.
This is something we got to point out here. These are defensive smokes coming in, and I talked about how smokes can deny vision on lanes. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I expected it to be used on an offensive capacity, but the defense is using it here to deny any sort of information from Mayhem. Mayhem can't really identify anyone inside that center, and it's allowed the Peacekeepers to get comfortable and set up and get ready for the aggression.
Yeah, James is trying to thread some nades again, but they're not quite landing. This one might get close to Squirfy. Nope, just a little too short once again.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about it, Etch. This is most likely a Peacekeepers pick because they very much practiced this map, and they're hoping to get that knowledge advantage on Mayhem. And so far, with what I'm seeing, that defensive setup, it's very much a practice setup there, and so I think this is going to be a tough entry for Mayhem, as everyone is holding very nice angles that are they're angles that Mayhem has to cross out into. They're not necessarily opening themselves up to any kind of kills. The nades are raining in, but they're just not quite finding their targets. And so Peacekeepers have a nice kill box, still very much active here. As I say that, Wookiees picked it apart just a touch as Squirfy goes down.
Yeah, and that's their first pick they needed. Now that right side is a little bit softer to make an entry for Cappy and James. I'm surprised they haven't got on the catwalk, and I say that Cappy jumps on it.
They are pushing up a trade on that catwalk side. There's a good pickup from Rushers. Cappy is pushing in now on the left, and he's found Rushers. It's going to open up this side entry. Seaquick and Fume, the lone defenders, left into a 2v4. The res has come in, so Deflate's back up. Fume's trying to defend against Sky, who swings wide. Cappy goes down, so Seaquick still left to defend, but it's a 1v3, and the push is coming, and we talk about aggression. It has to continue to flow in, but it ends up biting them as Seaquick gets the kill. Where's James? Where's Sky? They have an exposed Seaquick here on objective. Shots do come in. He gets a heal off. It seems still able to survive here.
This is disconnected. Yeah, it's a 1v1 between Sky and Seaquick right now. James is a little too far to have any angles, but he's sneakily making his way up. Maybe they don't have a good count.
We'll see. There's the pickup finally. Yeah, James secures the kill, and ooh, yeah, that almost an opportunity for Seaquick there to pick up those one at a time. You know, it was a rare moment where Mayhem were out of sync. An opportunity, like I said, to get that defensive dub. We very well could have seen a 2-0 lead by Peacekeepers, but Hey, we're tied up in another solid round here, Ramen, in this series.
Yeah, MAYHEM doing a really good job. Sequick almost clutching. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys play this map, and I'm a little bit confused on why MAYHEM didn't ban this map originally, because this was one of Peacekeepers' first of all favorite and best map during the custom map tourney that was hosted a little bit ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these guys play very good on it. It favors their aggression very well. You did see MAYHEM a little bit further back, slowly pushing forward,
Yep.
but still playing on that aggressive side. So, I'm interested to see what happens next.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to see more quick Peacekeepers offensive attacks. The question is, though, how well does that work round after round after round against a team like MAYHEM? They're a team that can defend well against aggression. They've proven it on Subway when they were down into some close 1v1s, 2v2s. So I'm curious to see if MAYHEM can weather at least one of these offensive pushes, or if we're just going to keep seeing offensive trades here on this map, because so far that's what we've gotten, 2 offensive round W's. We'll see what we get as we hop into round number 3 of map 2. If you are just tuning in, you've missed a good bit of action. A quick 4-0, well, not a quick 4-0 on Subway, but not an easy 4-0 from MAYHEM. We are now into map 2, Peacekeepers map pick, and everything's tied up, so I suppose you've dropped in at a very good time. We'll see what this round holds. Peacekeepers going to be pushing up. We do see some C4 come in and some smokes get dropped out. All of the utility that's been enabled here in this Season 11 coming to good use.
Yeah, we're switching towards a south to north attack now, as we have a very interesting defense. Only Sky Joker out here swinging wide, and he gets taken out by Fume and Squirfy pushing that way. 3 of MAYHEM are all stacked. Actually, all 4 are stacked in that little corridor over there. It's good cover there, but a very interesting defense indeed.
Yeah, now that they've lost this control here, Squirfy can get some dangerous angles onto this defensive setup. Capitano seems to be aware of that. Nardu's pushing in, and this defense is getting picked off one after the next. James Boat can defilade the lone 2 defenders into a 1v4 now, 1v3. Rushers, Fume and Sequick all pushing in on James. Sequick on the backside finds the kill, and Peacekeepers in less than a minute's time secure another round on offense. The quick pace really working for them here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that MAYHEM's defense, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what the setup there was. Maybe they anticipated a very hard red lane push, but I don't know what the thought there was, but they were very tightly constrained. They were smoked out, and Nardu was on OBJ, in fact, and that caused a lot of panic as they were rotating around. They just got picked apart from multiple long angles as Peacekeepers surrounded them.
Yeah, a interesting defensive setup to say the least. I don't know, Ramen, what are your thoughts on that? It does seem like they tried to make a prediction and it just didn't work out.
I think so. Peacekeepers doing their normal thing, pushing up. I think they're definitely showing their experience on this map. MAYHEM not so much. I mean, you're so crowded in that area that Sky Joker, if he goes down, all of a sudden your backsides are exposed. You can get picked off from some very dangerous angles. So I think MAYHEM's inexperience on this map is shining through a little bit. Still haven't played it that much. So,
yeah, I think you definitely, it seems like in some of their setups that's the case. They are still proving to, be MAYHEM, though, and that they're making these rounds somewhat challenging. I'm curious to see MAYHEM's offensive approach. I want to see how Peacekeepers defend this objective. That'll give us a really good indicator of where this round's headed, because I think MAYHEM are just going to continue to put up good fights regardless of their knowledge on this map, and it is really going to come down to if Peacekeepers can capitalize on this seemingly bit of advantage they have here on USS Quest. We'll see if it's the case as we hop into round 4 of map 2.
Yeah, and we can see Peacekeepers spreading out a little bit. Nardu in the red lane, and then Sequick and Fume sort of in the mid left and mid right. Sequick actually pushing very much up the mid, and then Rushers and Squirfy in the back, holding these very long angles on the edges. So a very different defense. And we watch as I think James is preparing some nades, but will they land where he's predicting?
Yeah, one thing we've really seen James do exceptionally well, better so than maybe any player in the league, is that precise nade, throwing. He's very good at throwing a nade right where he wants to. That nade was very well placed on the other side of those Hesco boxes. Normally a defensive position that one would take, but Sequick has pushed far further than those Hesco crates and is now really positioned well to sort of hear all of this audio movement that's happening on the other side of this crate here.
Yeah, I think that grenade, the first grenade James threw, is exactly where Sky Joker played, so I imagine that made a that was part of that process. But Rusher swings with that long angle from the back right, gets James.
And a big pickup, not a trade, a huge element there. Nice advantage. Sequick's here on the corner, and Cappy seems to be sort of aware of the threat there. Wookie tosses a flash up and over, and Cappy finds the kill onto Sequick in the corner. Really good, just aware play there from Cappy to be able to check that corner and find those quick shots. We'll see if Mayhem can push up, though, through the rest of this defense. 4v4. Everyone else pretty tucked in. Squirfy being subbed in for Virus here, looking for the kill onto Wookie. He's well suppressed, and Wookie finds the shots. Fume gonna take a quick peek there onto Cappy, who's now tucked into that corner and starts to go real slow. And a bit of a pause in momentum from the Mayhem offense, something that you haven't seen yet on this map. There's a good swing and a great hip-fire shot from Fume to at least trade. Nardu still defending, gets the confirm. Sky trying to act off of those shots as Nardu swings. Sky goes down. Defilade's up next on his hit list. Defilade goes down. A huge couple of kills there. Turns it into a 1v1 as Rushers tries to find the shots onto Wookie behind. Wookie ducks back just in time. Rushers ducks back just in time. We are 3:30 left, and we're into a panicked 1v1 on USS Quest. Wookie peeks up with a great little head peek just over the crates, finds the kill, and Mayhem, wow, you know, they continue to make this difficult for Peacekeepers.
Absolutely. I think Rushers did not have a good count there at the end. I think Nardu's really 2 kills probably didn't get communicated because there was so much smoke there. Rushers was kind of panicking, looking back towards OBJ, looking towards Wookie. Maybe if he had known the count, he would have been more committed to, focusing on Wookie. But nevertheless, a really good, swing back and forth of who's getting the advantage and who's getting the disadvantage in numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly an interesting series. I mean, Ramen, what are your thoughts on the Mayhem offense there?
So the Mayhem offense was very nice and coordinated.
Yep.
I will say Sequick almost had him there, but
Yeah.
Cappy quickly peeked that corner, saw him there, peeked back, was able to... I'm pretty sure he called him out, though, and he was able to quickly peek that corner and get the pick onto him. He was just kind of creeping there. I was really expecting him to push out and try, and since he got spotted out, but he really could have capitalized on that. As you can tell, Peacekeepers had a little bit more of a spread out defense.
Yeah,
it was
right.
going a lot more well for them than when Mayhem had their defense because they were more spread out. They had a lot more angles. Rushers in a very amazing spot, able to watch all the way down near those Hescos. Very nice defense coming out from Peacekeepers. Very amazing tack coming out from Mayhem. This is what we expected.
Yeah, and to your point, the Mayhem coordination, certainly something that we saw there as they almost paused their offensive push up through the middle to make sure everyone was in sync in one line, really. Then they made their entry up in, and ultimately it comes down to the 1v1, but either way, a solid attack, a solid hold. Both teams competing very well here in this series as we duke it out on a new objective, shifted over to the other side again of the USS Quest, and Again, we see Mayhem stacking on that objective a little bit 3 heavy in the objective area.
Yeah, I think they're very concerned about hard pushes and potential cap as Nardu gets Wookiee. There's no one really pushing the red lane. I mean, I think Peacekeepers are expecting it.
Big pickup there from Deathlight. He's looking for the double as he drops out. He finds Squirfy flying off of the ledge. He can't get the reload in time as Nardu has a great challenge. And here comes the push. Peacekeepers riding off momentum. Down goes one. Capitano saves a potential threat onto objective. Rusher swings, finds Cappy. And again, another 1v1 as Nardu looks for Sky, and Sky finally nets a defensive round here. The first defensive W, and it goes to Mayhem. Not what you want if you're Peacekeepers and this is your map pick, but a great round either way.
Yeah, lots of aggressive swings, refrags, and just a lot of movement. I mean, like we were talking about before, these defenders and attackers are all just moving around, which works up, but also, you know, you are exposed to multiple angles, as we saw there in the end at that 1v1. This is it's very much like Cargo with how it's played.
Yeah, it's all about getting data, identifying it, and then playing off of it effectively. And just what I love to see is when Peacekeepers push, it really is quite coordinated. They are very nicely synced as a team pushing in. It opens up the opportunity for refrags. You saw the refrag on the edge come in there. I mean, really great play here from both teams to make this such an exciting series. We'll see if Mayhem can continue to win offensive rounds or if Peacekeepers will throw up another practice defense here and be able to finally hold the push.
Yeah, we still haven't seen C4 really come into play. I think it might, it's very powerful for shutting down this red lane. I wonder if we'll see it this round.
Yes, indeed. We do have a 3-2 split going on. Sky and Defilade making their way down on that red lane, and it's a lane you really have to cover. It's dangerous because you can do things like Nardu's doing here, where you can crouch behind a lot of the cover that's available here and get up into some interesting positions. As Nardu is peeking up, looking for those kills, a nade comes in. Nardu nearly drops back into it, able to just barely avoid that frag radius. Another frag comes in towards objective from the other trio. That doesn't find any purchase, and we'll see if Nardu can hold as Deflade now has pushed up. He's crouched. Nardu has no idea where either one of these players are because he can't see them over these brick walls. One of the cooler things I really think about this map design and about this lane in particular. Nardu does peek through the cracks. Sky was dialed in waiting for it.
Yeah, meanwhile, James and Cappy, as well as Wookiee, are pushing the middle, and they're trying to gain control of it, but Rushers is going to be the one to deny them, as well as Seaquake holding down this angle as Cappy's going to peek it. They trade.
See if a res comes in here from James and Wookiee. Rushers tries to get some flashes out. This cross could be dangerous. Wookiee has an angle. He swings out and finds two. A huge double kill from Rushers. A magnificent play, perfectly timed, just dodges Wookiee's shots. And now things have been equalized as we get into a 3v3.
And Fume gets definitely just a little bit of his head poking out, as probably Nardu is calling it out. Sky's gonna make a push. Gets punished.
Great kills coming in, and Fume just barely missing the res opportunity there on Sky. But like you said, Sky with some great comms, identifying that push out to Fume, ultimately getting him those easy kills, and a great hold here from Peacekeepers. It seems like they've got this one in their hand. We'll see what Wookiee can do, as he does have a 1v3 opportunity in front of him, and maybe he can start to pick them off one by one.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. Wookiee coming down the red lane. There are quite easy eyes on it, and it's not going to be easy to rotate out of it as well. But he's trying to get Fume. He can't. He's going to push out now that they know where he is. 3 minutes on the clock, so he's got the time to make some of these rotations, but tough road ahead of him.
A good rotation. He's dropped off. But I mean, after this much time, if you're a sort of a seasoned team like this, like Peacekeepers are, they're expecting, this sort of rotation. After this much time has passed, it'd almost be a good play to sort of just wait on that red lane and then eventually make a push. Either way, he is going to be able to get up into a pretty good spot. He'll be able to run all the way across this lane to the ramp and be able to pop up and have a back entry to objective, and I think that actually may be the most effective push.
I think this white lane, this catwalk here, this is one of the things that makes it unique from Cargo, in my opinion, because like you said, he can duck down, get right behind all of them without really them noticing, and all he has to do is focus on, the angle in front of him in case anybody's there. And then that allows him to get behind them with a lot of long angles to swing and pick off defenders. I've seen, just in the past tournaments, numerous 1v2, 1v3 situations that have been really aided by this lane here.
Wookie looking for a little bit of resource usage there. Can't find it. And these peek ups over the ledge are so risky for him to be doing because it does expose him on this approach. It does give away his position if anyone's holding these angles that he's also checking. But fortunate for him, nobody is just yet. And he is going to be able to get up here. A minute 20 left. Time's going to become an element.
Yeah, I wonder if he has any utility to throw at this point. A couple smokes might help, but I think he's got to get rushers first, and then hope to catch a swinging Scorpion Fume. But they've got a diamond set up right now that really doesn't require any movement from the defense.
Yeah, this is, a true test of team sort of trust, if you will. Do you trust that Fume has your back covered? Do you trust that Rusher is just holding his angle properly? It really comes down to depending on your teammate, and Fume has the angle that he's holding here. As soon as Wookie peeks, it's just a question of if Fume's going to hold it. He drops it, almost a double there. Fume nearly goes down. And I hate to point it out, but we have a teleport bug. So Wookie has somehow managed to work himself over to the middle. That's gonna shock the Peacekeepers defense. They're not gonna go, what the hell is going on, because they have an accurate kill count. Somehow Wookie's over here on objective though with 10 seconds left. Fume just has to stay tucked in. Wookie has to push in, and another teleport. Peacekeepers defend in chaos, and the game working against Wookie. You hate to see it on a cast.
In some sense, they were offsetting teleports, you could say. The first one kind of aided it. It surprised Peacekeepers, really. They were like,
it was a huge advantage. I mean, for you to be able to teleport from one because, like I said, they had an accurate kill count. They knew there was only one player left. Right. I mean, what a jeez.
And the second one took him out of the play, and that was it. Really unfortunate to see, but, they had a good defense. Like we were talking about before, they had the diamond. If Fume didn't drop off of that angle, Wookie would have been dead, even before any of that happened.
Yeah, Wookie nearly had a double, though. Fume almost got picked up. That would have, he would have teleported, he would have gotten the kill, would have been around. Mayhem would have won that series, so a fortunate dip back, if anything, for Fume to drop off. But like you said, if he had been holding it, we would have got the kill. Who knows what really would have happened there on that round, but geez, an unfortunate bug. For those that are confused, there's no hacks going on here. It's a known bug in the game that happens from time to time. Players do teleport back to old locations. I have no idea why it happens, but it does. I've rarely seen it on stream, if ever. Maybe once or twice, but there it was. That's the situation there. Ultimately, like we said, they do win. He gets a second teleport. I mean, geez, what a mess. What a messy round. Either way, it takes us to a 3-3. So, are we really to complain as casters?
Yeah, this is exactly what we want. And, Peacekeepers are holding on for the series right now. They need to win this on offense. And they've been winning more offenses than defenses. So this, they've got to be feeling good and hoping that they can take this in a similar fashion as they attack from north to south.
I think we got predictions going out there on who's going to win the map. Get your channel point predictions in. You're going to see some use cases for those channel points throughout this course of the season 11. So be sure to acquire as much as you can. We're going to hear be tuning back into the action as a C4 detonation somehow downs Wookiee, but also Nardu, so it at least shuts down what would have been a very successful aggressive push. Deathblade's going to drop back and come in for the res, so he should be able to pick him up. In the meantime, frags and utility getting tossed left and right as the push from the center comes in from Peacekeepers. The res comes out. The confirm should come in onto Nardu as Seaquick is swinging around down the red tunnel.
Yeah, frag nearly gets Squirfy, but James gets taken out in a trade between him and rushers.
There's still a res available here. Seaquick can pick up Nardu. Squirfy has the Sky Joker down. Seaquick can push up here, scoop up this res, and have a duo pushing in. A quick push out from Cappy's finds one. Nardu's res and the duo that's left alive to attack comes in. Seaquick scoops up Deflate. Nardu is swinging in from the backside as Wookiee finds a key pickup onto Seaquick. Nardu gonna be challenging here. Cappy exposed. Nardu doesn't have the shot. Goes for the utility usage. A good flash nade comes up. Wookiee goes down. Cappy's completely blind. Nardu has to push in here. The flash is worn off. Cappy peeks up and saves it. Mayhem, by the skin of their teeth, take the series 4-3.
That was an insane ending. I mean, that flash was on time,
Perfect.
but somehow he was able to get Wookiee before Cappy, and the flash just wears out. They don't get the shots through the container, and just, that was so close. I mean, that could have been Peacekeepers holding on and going to a map 3 decider.
Oh, wow. It's what we would have loved to see here. I can tell you that, but it's not going to be what we get. It's the series locked in. We still do go to a map 3 for those that aren't maybe familiar. That map 3 still gets played out, so it'll be interesting to see what they do on what seems to be Snow Peak for that third map. So we are going to go to a bit of range. We've had nothing but close quarters, and now we get to see what Peacekeepers can do with a little bit of range. I mean, granted, do you even consider Snow Peak to really be... It's almost more like a 60-40 close range map.
Yeah, I think it really depends on OBJ. I mean, some OBJs get played like Downfall, and some OBJs get played, much closer, almost like a Subway kind of map. It really depends on OBJs that you end up getting.
Yeah, it's honestly become a map that I've started to kind of like. And Ramen, I want to get your thoughts on what you think we're gonna see here on Snow Peak from both of these teams.
So, adding on to the some Downfall, some Cargo, this map is very versatile, and I'm very excited to see how Mayhem and Peacekeepers take advantage of this, because Mayhem, as we've seen, play very coordinated. I'm expecting a lot of different pushes, a lot of different tight angles coming out from Mayhem. Peacekeepers, on the other hand, probably going to be very aggressive, especially if we get a tunnel objective. Very aggressive on the offense, and I mean, that's about all I gotta say. They're definitely going to be attacking more head-on than if Mayhem getting those longer angles.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember that this is Mayhem's map pick, and so the long range I anticipate to favor the Mayhem shooters, and I think that's really where this Mayhem team is sometimes its strongest. Their coordination is certainly very good, but they are also very good shooters with their, that's a skill that it should be, we should be talking about, I think, far more, just because it takes a lot of practice to be able to draw your gun and dial into an enemy in VR, of all things.
Yeah, and it's something that, you can, come off of a lull and still be good on the mental side of Onward, but the physicality of being able to point and shoot and get the shots where you want them to land, that is something you've got to keep practicing and stay sharp with. And both these teams do that. They play regularly, they play frequently, and they keep themselves warm and in shape.
We'll see if they can stay warm on Snow Peak as we do go into the Tundra for round number 1 on map 3.
We're going to start off with the Southwest Hangar OBJ, which I think is one of the ones, it does depend on spawn, but I think it does get played mid to longer range. And Mayhem are going to spawn in the north east garage, so to say. And it looks like we're going to have a 3-2 split as 3 are going to push direct west with 2 working the way around north and probably northwest.
Yeah, heading through that tunnel now is that duo, and meanwhile, Theta, Wookie, and James going to be pushing in here from that south side. We'll see how that push ends up working. It's going to take some time, though. This is certainly, like you said, one of those longer range objectives, and so curious to see what the end result is. Seaquick certainly going to be able to identify a push if it comes in through this south lane. He's got a nice stairwell position. He can peek actually from off the ledge of the stairs there, or peek up over the guardrail. So he has a couple of different sort of angles he can take up, and then you also see he's holding another angle just over all the way across the map, essentially, to ID if anyone does come in from the north across the river there, or across the lake.
Well, something to point out here is that this tower, all of the metal at the top is not bulletproof. So Seaquick is opting to hang out at the staircase, which I believe is bulletproof. Now that gives him a little bit less cover, but the cover he has is safer. But he does have, 2 to 3 angles that he can look at, which makes it quite a powerful position that Mayhem probably needs to knock out first.
Fume's also kind of in an interesting spot. He's pushed up just a touch further than Seaquick, and he's holding some similar angles. He's got a bit of an earlier one than Seaquick. He'll be able to ID James or Theta if they decide to push up through that lane. It's a very risky peek, and I think he kind of recognizes the threat there of checking that, and so he's going to drop off. You talk about the stairwell being impenetrable. It doesn't mean his limbs are, as Wookie somehow manages to find a couple of elbows peeking up from the edge there and gets the kill. It's going to open up this entry point for the Mayhem offense, and it really does seem only like Wookie's going to be the one to utilize it.
Yeah, I think Seaquick could have benefited from focusing on maybe towards the lake angle, which was holding the majority of time, and allowing Fume to hold that cross angle, because he could have spotted out Mono and Deflade making this approach here. And Deflade with the 12x is going to try to get into a position, and this is the angle, right? This is, he's got sight of most of the hangar, and he's going to try to give out some callouts, maybe get some picks towards where they are, but this is the downfall type of play we're going to see right now from Mono and Deflade.
Yeah, he's looking for those long-range snipes, trying to hunt out any sort of defensive hold here. The push coming in from Theta and James in the meanwhile, and then also Wookie on that far south. A nicely synced up push, as you'd expect. Deflade finds rushers with that sniper, like you're talking about, the long-range shots coming in, and the push coming out from James's Theta as utilities thrown in. More shots from James onto that penetrable wood there, just to ensure no one's crouched or tucked into that little offshoot. The question is this James going to be ready for Fume's position here, just across the other side of the hill?
Yeah, with a properly timed swing, Fume could get a double here onto James and Theta, but nope, James is turning around, ready for him. Maybe he heard something. He does. Fume does get James, and he gets Theta.
Wow.
Great double to bring it back.
Really nice swing there from Fume to find those kills. Wookie's trying to get the refrag and even the odds just a touch, looking for a kill onto Squirfy. Fume wants some more blood as he just tags Wookie's shoulder. Wookie peeks up and over, and now he's into a 1v2 as Squirfy and Fume are reinforcing, and I think definitely is on the hunt for an angle on the backside, but we're going to stay over the shoulder of Wookie as he's looking for this kill onto Fume. Definitely does find Squirfy. A great sniper shot from him. Perfect coordination, as you'd expect from Mayhem, and now Fume has to worry about his backside as well.
Yeah, with all the commotion Wookie was causing, I think they kind of lost track of Deflade there. Squirfy, like you mentioned, Deflade was on the hunt for Squirfy, and now with just the 3v3, they need to tighten up this defense, and Fume is rotating back to do that. But Mono gets him.
And now Nardu's in a 1v3. He has to hold objective. You see him go over it to make sure no one's capping, and of course he's exposed to multiple angles. He gets picked up, and Mayhem continue to maintain a lead in this series as they take 1-0 on Snowpeak. Ramen, it's kind of what we expected. I mean, some great sniper shots from Defilade. What are your thoughts there on that first round?
Yeah, Defilade being Mayhem's designated marksman for a very good reason. We saw why that is true in some very nice picks coming out from him. A little bit iffy on that. Theta almost was able to get the reaction, but I believe it was Fume with that quick and, well, I wouldn't say quick, but that rotate, picking off those two important people on that push, leaving Wookiee all by himself. But Defilade and Mono were able to get onto their backside, and that backside is very key because it watches over that entire area, and Defilade proved that true.
Yeah, and you could see that Fume initially was holding that angle to prevent the cross that Defilade ultimately makes, but he got kind of caught up in switching and covering the south side. So, you know, it's the struggle of losing C-Quick early to that south defense. They have to then force a bit of extra attention, and ultimately it opens up a crack in that defense that turns into a full-on break, and Mayhem find their way in to that offensive W. We'll see if Mayhem can snag themselves another round as they now defend that same objective for round 2.
And Peacekeepers this time get a very similar spawn, but the closest spawn. So they're also in the southeast, but even closer than Mayhem spawned. So let's see what they do with it. They might make an aggressive push through this valley. And it looks like they are. 5 of them rushing west in the south towards objective.
Yeah, Onward and Subway, we need to get one map.
A quick push from Peacekeepers, and an interesting bit of info sort of relayed there from the comms of Nardu, mentioning that the 04 on Subway hurt them, and they really do need to lock in this map so that they can keep the MMR loss to a minimum. As the reason we play this third map out is because the points do matter. And so if Peacekeepers can win at least one of the 3 maps in this series, it's going to mean that they go down in rank less. And so it's certainly still something the Peacekeepers should be fighting for, especially early in the season. They don't want to sort of let up a big drop in MMR to push them down too far. So the pressure is on still, even though the series has been won. We'll see if Peacekeepers can find a crack in the Mayhem defense, as Nardu has worked himself up rather forward here.
Yeah, and something else to mention is that there's double the number of teams in the league this season, which means more Master Diamond spots. So I expect at least 3 more Master spots, and Peacekeepers are one of the teams vying for one.
Yes, they are. They can't afford to dip too far down early, and so as you say that, an early kill comes in from the likes of Fume. Peacekeepers off to a good offensive start. Nardu continues his push. He's getting danger close to Theta's position. It seems like Theta's almost waiting for this. Wow, and a huge pickup from Virus, ultimately saving what would have been a quick swing on the corner onto Nardu. Nades come in, and a res comes out from Fume. James here waiting. Fume swings, finds the trade. James also gets that full kill, so a 1-for-1. But they have control of the center of objective. As I say that, Defilade swings out, finds the kill. Squirfy comes up to a ledge and looks for any sort of info, but can't get it. Defilade goes down to Virus, and there's only one defender now as Mono's the lone. Wow. Virus finds the kill, and a great push from Peacekeepers. They answer back with a really nice offensive round.
I think Virus had 3, maybe 4 kills that round, really doing work with that M249, picking up Theta at first, then Defilade on the rotation, and then Mono to clean it up at the end. Just a really good push from Virus. Yeah, that quick spawn I think paid dividends as they got that real estate quickly to put the pressure.
Yes, indeed. We have, I think, a HyperX coupon going out in chat. If you are paying attention, you can get in on that giveaway. I think it's a US code only, but still 20% off a purchase of a HyperX device. So highly recommend you get involved on that giveaway. We'll be doing more giveaways this season, stuff like that, coupons, ProTube content as well, ProTube coupons. You're going to want to be paying attention and tuning into the matches because who knows when those are going to be dropped, when they're going to be coming through. When you maybe get an easy chance at a nice discount code on a ProTube piece. I mean, Ramen, do you have any experience with mounts? Have you ever tried one?
Yeah, I have a mount for my mic.
I mean, for your controllers, you dingus, like a ProTube.
Well, that's called a stock, okay? So
Okay,
I was
you're
a
right.
little distracted.
You're
I'm
right.
sorry. Yeah, no, I do have a ProTube. It's very nice. Yeah,
Perfect.
The ProTube makes my shots land. I get really shaky hands, so.
Yep. Yeah, it's almost, I wouldn't say a necessity, but if you want to improve your long-range sniping ability, a ProTube is going to help significantly. And the same level, a good set of headphones gets you a long way in detecting audio cues and where the enemy is going to approach from. Fume right now listening for any sort of cues in the tunnels before he peeks out and looks for a pick. Not going to find anything just yet, but this is sort of one of those close-range objectives we talk about where it goes from a long-range map to a close-range map suddenly with a shift of an objective etch.
Absolutely. This is, you can see the defense cluster around the OBJ. There's only a few key entry points, and they're defending all of them. But the three-man push from Mayhem is already very close up there in the north. I wonder if they're going to get into a holding pattern, waiting for their southern counterpart to make their way up. Or maybe they're going to get into action a little bit early before that. Depends on what Virus chooses to do here. Is he going to hold this? Is he going to push based on the intel he gets? But Mono, Theta, and Wookie getting up here quickly.
Yeah, they are. And it's kind of interesting. With this objective, there are ways to get to where you need to be that are really fast. And it seems like Mayhem has not opted to go for like a terribly long rotation. They didn't drop all the way to the south of the map to cross. And maybe that costs them their life as James goes down to Fume. A res available, but they kind of take a bit of a shortcut, cut through half the map here up through the center. And now Defilade has to get this res. I wonder if James maybe can't reach his mic on the ground, but either way, the push is coming in from the other side as Theta finds Virus.
North side.
Yeah, Deflated and James are a little bit delayed now with this res as well. They're worried. I don't think they know where those shots came from. Potentially Deflated is scanning. Oh, but the push on the north is still happening.
Yes, it is. A back and forth. Defilade finally does get the kill on to Fume. Finds the refrag and a great timed shot there, or at least look from that south side. We talked they were a bit out of sync, but still coming clutch with a good pickup. And now it's up to Mono and Wookie who are on objective. If they just wait and play patiently, the rest of this offense will be here, and it'll be a four-man push against Nardu and Squirfy.
With how this OBJ is set up, there are critical choke points in these doors, and as I say that one goes down, it's now a 2v3. This could very easily become, a 2v2 or 1v1 at the end with how this OBJ is.
Yeah, it's not incredibly hard to hold, and like you said, there's not really any sort of flank coming in just yet. As I say that, Wookie is coming in. That's a great nade toss. Forces Squirfy to rotate out. Defilade finds the kill, and now it's a 1v3. As Nardu is holding here, looking for any opportunity, looking for Defilade. He's pushed up, still looking for Defilade. Shots come in, now his location's known. James about to be entering in, Wookie about to be entering in. He's going to have all three angles pressed here. It's going to be an incredibly hard defense. He's still somehow alive as he crouches down. James is pad out going up towards objective. Defilade goes down. Nardu finds James, and Wookiee's the lone attacker now into a 1v1.
Yeah, like I said, very quick swings and momentum as they enter. There's a lot of cover in here. It's really a defender's paradise. I mean, being last man up, he does have to check a lot of angles, which is what he's doing right now. But will he be ready for Wookiee here as he makes his mad dash? I don't know if he has a good count. He knows he's killed 2 at this point. He might know he has another one killed, but
yeah,
I don't know if he knows he's 1v1.
He verified a third in the doorway, so he knows that at least 3 are down, and this is a great angle. This angle is right where Wookiee's coming in from, and he peeks out there. Shots ring in, just tagging his shoulder. Can't quite get the full kill. Utility usage into the center of the map. Not quite far enough. Nardu able to get a reload in.
He's down to a pistol.
Oh, no, he isn't able to get a reload in. He's out of ammo, like you said. Maybe he can pick up a rifle here, which is what he does now as an AK-5C in hand, looking for the kill with 1:15 left. And there's the kill. Wookiee finds a great shot. And I mean, what is this? The 4th 1v1 we've had this series?
Yeah, incredible. I mean, just really good. I mean, that was a 2v4 at the beginning, brought back to a 1v1. Nardu runs out of ammo. He just couldn't hit his shots at Wookiee coming out of that door. But man, so close coming down to the wire.
Absolutely. We are having a bit of a scoreboard malfunction, so unfortunately I don't have an accurate score count for you here, but Peacekeepers are on the board with at least 1 point. Mayhem pushing their lead up a touch there, but I mean, Peacekeepers, I love to see them battling so hard here on this 3rd map. You know, it's gonna be a good back and forth. And Ramen, I mean, what are your thoughts on that defensive hold? It was nearly a W for Peacekeepers.
Yeah, Peacekeepers, very tight defense. I mean, they favor so much aggression. They're so good at close quarters, so when it comes to these tunnels, I mean, it's very much in their favor, but Mayhem have these quick reaction times and are able to, I mean, they were a little bit out of sync at first. A smoke going on to James, but missing as he tried to go for the cap. So a little bit of falter there, but besides that, both teams are playing really well right now.
Yeah, they really are. A solid performance here from both squads, even into this final 3rd round. Love to see what the defense looks like from Mayhem as we dive back into the series, to the final map. Oh no, and a C4 botched as Defilade butterfingers it, drops it on the ground, and once it's dropped, the sticky glue at the back locks it into place, so no movement for this poor C4.
Yeah, speaking of defense, I mean, a very, very tight defense. Once again, similar to what Peacekeepers had set up, but Peacekeepers are already very close, just south of the objective. This is going to be a fast attack.
A very fast spawn, and true to Peacekeepers' sort of MO, they are already here at the OBJ. Theta's tucked in, playing it quiet, waiting until he hears maybe more than 1 or 2 attackers to peek out, but as soon as Squirfy makes comms, Theta swings wide, finds the kill, and his position is now known, but hey, it nets him a kill. He's looking for rushers up next.
Yeah, Mono in a similar position, protecting Theta's back. Can he get Virus? He knows they're coming this way. Nardu as well.
Ooh, Rushers gets Theta. A huge pickup. Nardu was about to get him, but either way, it opens up an entry. Mono's actually tucked in on the outside, an interesting position. He goes down to shots to a trade, actually. A nade gets another kill on the outside, and Fume is suddenly into a 1v2 as he casually makes his way down towards objective through the tunnel.
Yeah, that was a very quick bit of action. Nardu actually walked past Mono. He did not expect another defender there with his tablet out. Rushers gets Theta, and then James with a fantastic second grenade through the door gets Rushers. That was a very interesting use of a grenade that I haven't really seen before.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the replay from that last defensive round, and you know, when you get inside of these close quarters, like Ramen was saying, it kind of feels like it favors Peacekeepers' playstyle. So I gotta wonder if maybe there's still a chance here for Peacekeepers to snag this offensive round. It's just Defilade and Wookiee tucked in. They're holding these all 4 angles, and I do like this setup because they have Defilade tucked in behind one. He's watching 2 doors. Both of them are able to watch 2 doors with how they're positioned.
Yeah, and there's four entry points to this OBJ, so they don't really know where Fume is going to come through, so they kind of have to play it like this. And this is going to be tough for Fume. I think that coming out of the outside lends yourself to quick rotations at least. You can go through one door, go out the other door, which we saw James do last round.
Ooh. Wow, the box saves Fume's life. The peek from Wookiee, the C4 detonation. Fume still alive. Wookiee tries to throw some utility down the tunnel, and Fume's holding the angle. He finds his first kill, and now Defilade knows where this 1v1's going to be coming from, so he can at least hold the hallway appropriately. But Fume still has utility. The flash, oh no, a smoke completely blinds. He's going to push through the smoke. The flash comes through. The nade goes back behind him. Defilade waits patiently and puts Fume into a breakdancing frenzy.
Another 1v1 in the series.
I mean, what the heck? Ramen, this series has been so close despite the scoreline. Your thoughts on that sort of 1v2 attempt there?
So, I mean, if that's C4, you just gotta be really careful of C4 in those tunnels. He almost got killed by it, but thankfully the box saved him. He was able to push up, got a nice pick. I wasn't paying attention, too much time was left, but I mean, he could have pushed out of there. Probably was a minute left. He probably could have pushed out of there and rotated, but he decided to opt for that one push, and that probably because of that aggressive mindset. The aggression, though, from Peacekeepers pushing up very quickly, definitely going to be watching those outside spots from now on.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen sort of that defensive setup where they've tucked in behind these little corners on this objective building like that. A really nice innovation, I would say. Maybe I'm wrong on it being an innovation, but it is for what I know about the defense there, and a good hold from Mayhem. And now Peacekeepers just a round away from losing a 3rd map, something they do not want to have happen. And so we'll see if they can hold on to this defense as we get into round number 5.
Yeah, and we switch over to the southeast OBJ as Mayhem are spawning in the tunnel, sending 2 towards the garage, 1 towards the middle tunnels, and 2 all the way north. So they're spreading out. Peacekeepers do have a defender in the garage who's probably going to encounter action first.
Ooh, early shots from a lot of different angles. Virus looking for some shots onto Defilade. More shots coming in from Squirfy as well. Virus being suppressed there.
Yeah, Squirfy knows he has company in the garage, so he rotated, took a different angle, watching sort of these doorways. But there are 3 exits to that garage, so maybe his play is to let them get past it, so they can shoot him from behind. But James and Wookiee are playing it carefully, trying to clear a lot of these corners in the garage.
Yeah, this garage is a kind of a tricky spot to come through if you have to worry about a defensive player pushing you at any point in this garage, just because even once you get to the outside of the garage, there's all kinds of other defensive angles that they can take. And so, like you said, a lot of different spots that they have to clear. And I'm sure Squirfy heard that sprinting from Wookiee up on the outside of this wall, so information for him as well. But true to the Mayhem style, they are coordinated nicely. James is also creeping up.
Yeah, James might find Squirfy's
Clear.
back as he's very distracted by Wookiee. But will he look there is the question. That is an interesting, tight little spot. Um, we'll have to see. It's going to happen any second now. He turns around, though, now.
Yeah, I think he heard just some tiny footsteps from James. James gets the knee of Squirfy first, and down he goes. A solid kill and a solid start to this round for the Mayhem offense. They can now make an entry down through this south lane. They'll come into Fume next, who is holding here. Shots ringing out again from Virus, who's still holding against the likes of Deflate and Mono. Going down to Rushers, who's got himself an interesting defensive spot in the center, holding out now what is looking like a Theta, who's tucked in. Theta with a great shot, threading a needle there through that crack in the wall. Gets his kill just over the corner of the rock, and Mayhem into a 4v3.
Yeah, now the closest defenders are the last ones alive as Fume takes one coming out of the garage. Can he find Wookiee now?
He's got the flashes. He's got the utility. That's a great flash up and over. He's not going to be able to push up off it, though, and Wookiee can tuck in. What Fume can do is drop back safe and sound, and now Wookiee has to be a little bit cautious of these different angles. The problem is, though, is that they've also got the pinch coming in. Theta has found a few kills, and fortunate for Fume, Fume's crossed as Theta drops the angle, and so typical Onward fashion, one moves to the next to a spot as the other drops the angle. Theta finally does pick up Fume, and look at this coordinated push. Deflate coming in from the other side. He's going to be distracting Virus. A great flash up and over there as a second one follows it up, and Virus completely blind. Is that a smoke now? Coming in next. Virus still there, tucked into the corner. A frag tossed towards his direction. Doesn't go quite around. Down he goes finally to the guns, and Peacekeepers are left only with Nardu, who's being suppressed heavily. He's got the 1v3. We've seen it happen before. Certainly is possible for the defense to hold, but Mayhem make it difficult. Snag map 3, 4-1 in commanding fashion, and a fun series to tune into ends up with 3 maps into the hands of Mayhem.
Really strong series by Mayhem, showing themselves to, take on Peacekeepers' map pick as well. It was tight. I think both first maps were very tight. A lot of the rounds here were tight. Really good shooting and plays from both sides. I mean, this is everything we expected, I think, today. They Peacekeepers came up with a lot of plays, and they came in with coordination, but some of the plays just didn't go quite their way. Some of the luck was mistimed, and that's what these high-level matchups are like. It's all in the margins, and whichever team makes fewer mistakes is the one that ends up with the win at the end of the day.
You are absolutely right. We got the highlight reel here for you to sort of take a look at what we saw. Subway, an exciting series. I mean, Ramen, take us through all 3 maps. I mean, it was overall a great couple of games to tune into.
So map 1, Subway, definitely equally balanced. Both teams, even though the points were on Mayhem's side, it was coming down to the wire.
Yeah.
On a lot of the maps, a lot of the rounds. But because Mayhem were just able to, they were in there, they were playing smart, they did those rotates. Peacekeepers with the really pushed up defense. Very nice plays from both teams. We saw a lot of grenades. We saw a lot of utility being used, especially with the smokes now being introduced this season. Very exciting stuff. Map 2, very, very exciting. Peacekeeper's choice, and we saw that. We definitely saw their almost a comeback. What brought it to what was almost a 4-3. It came down to a 3-3. Pretty sure the last round was a 1v1. Both teams did really good. We saw a lot of the Peacekeeper aggression on that map. Definitely a lot of pushes, a lot of coordinated aggression. You see Mayhem, sometimes they have to catch up with each other, but Peacekeepers, on the other hand, they just push forward. They're still in a line. It's just kind of natural for them, and that's what you really want in a team, being able to naturally fall into place with each other. And then map 3 lent itself to Mayhem, Defilade. Round 1 with 2 good snipes, even if it was just 2 kills, those kills are very critical in the attack. You're able to take out 2 defenders, making Wookiee be able to move forward and Mono be able to push in through the lake. The rest, there was the tunnel objective, an almost clutch. I will say, I know we're not allowed to be biased, but I was kind of rooting for that clutch there, but just because of how crazy that was going to be. We did see a few falters in both teams getting a little desynced on offense, but overall, both teams played really well. And yeah.
No, a fantastic series. The highlights certainly show it. That'll be it for us here on the desk. A brief shout out to all of the sponsors. You've seen them rotated here throughout the course of the series, but we'd like to shout them out anyway. HyperX, Asterion, ProTube, Rebuff Reality, Cyber Shoes, VRWare, all coming together to help sponsor the league and offer prizing to our champions that ultimately really drives the league and makes it worth competing for. I think I'm looking forward to this season's finale already with how much Season 11 has been delivering, and I can't wait for more action. I think we have maybe another game live right now, or at least later tonight. And if not, there will be more action here on these channels. Onward_VRML and Onward_VRML 2 and 3 are spillover channels. So make sure you're following all of those. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. If you have Twitch Prime, the support comes back to us casters. But that'll be it for us here on the desk. My name's Ben NightFiree with 2 E's. My co-casters Etch and Ramen on the analyst desk. We all appreciate you tuning in, and we will see you later with more Onward VRML action.